Dude,
And,
Nate's been having a week.
and yeah, what's up with Nate? Give us the Nate breakdown.
So he's in Brazil, right? And
Yeah.
the first day he goes to Brazil, I don't know what the hell happened, but he got kicked out of his Airbnb like the very first day.
Oh, it's
I
always a
don't
headache.
I don't know why, but he's been trying to find somewhere to sleep for the last like 3 nights, and he's not even
Running around
trading at all.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Dude, traveling, they said it would be fun.
Yeah, that's all everyone that fucking talks about travel, like most of them aren't even ever traveling in the first place. They're like, oh, it's great, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
not as a trader.
I try to avoid it like the plague.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
got
tough.
some serious horror stories.
Yeah, I got horror
You do.
stories, but my whole family, everyone, like all my friends, they all live in a different place. So we're traveling quite a lot. And I don't know, I've gotten pretty seasoned at it, let's just say, but it sucks. You get a farmhouse with some chickens and be like, I can't leave. Sorry, gotta maintain the chickens. I think
Yeah, seriously.
that's my 2023, 2024 strategy.
Find something that makes you have to stay in one area for a year.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody listening, I'm the moderator today. Let's go.
Oh, dude, I'm stoked. I'm ready.
So if I suck, let me know because I won't do it next week. But normally we do like a 10 minutes per person and we'll talk about like biggest lessons of the week. But I'm going to try to do something a little different where I'm going to ask questions to Toby and Alex, and then maybe I can answer a little bit too about just questions that probably anybody would want to know about pretty much any trader. So I've been thinking about this for a while. I never even really heard Alex's like trading origin story. Like what was the first time that you ever even were like exposed to the stock market?
Well, there's it's I think one of my earliest memories when it comes to I don't know what I was interested in work wise was I kept asking my dad like about because you make money as a kid, you either have an allowance, you work for it. We walk dogs in our neighborhood, we always got money. And my dad would like teach me about like, okay, well, like savings and then interest rates. So a lot of my first discussions with my dad work wise was about interest rates. How do I grow my own capital? So somehow I was always really interested in that as a kid. And then, high school comes along, we do like a stock trading competition game.
That's cool.
My team won that, but I think we just YOLO'd on some crap. I don't even remember what we traded. And then from there, I just got a little bit on the back burner, my interest in finance, because I was so busy working with my brother, a lot of projects, not finance project. We were software developers more or less, and marketing. We had our own basically IT firm, running a few projects for
Enslow,
people.
right?
Yeah, that was Enslow, exactly. But I always liked trading. In finance, I was always like, building a dividend portfolio and all that stuff. And then when I went to college in New York City, I watched, have you ever seen Wall Street Warriors?
I've heard of it
It's
like a million
it's a
times.
series. Yeah, it's a series where just some really random, I don't know how they got these random bunch of people together. And it was kind of like a reality show. They just kind of followed them around. And one of the people they followed around was actually Tim Sykes when he was trying to start a hedge fund back in the day. So then I looked him up, and then I got actually kind of interested in a lot of the actual day trading because I was really just, like I said, dividend investing at the time. So I dabbled with that for a little bit, watching all sorts of stuff. Back then, there wasn't so much on YouTube from what I remember. So it was really like, finding traders that had public information. I know Tim Sykes is always kind of like famous for having like his DVDs, but that's pretty much what it was. You'd be looking for content to study back then. Nowadays, it's like you're almost overwhelmed with content. And then I did that for like a year and a half. I got profitable, but again, I was like still like my primary source of income was my company with my brother. So that was always taking the forefront. And then I did like a really long road trip, moved to Europe. And at the time, like Heiko and I were kind of tying up a lot of loose ends. We were wrapping up some business deals. and some things were fizzling out. Other things we were kind of like moving in our own directions. Heiko was, growing the YouTube and his fishing stuff. And I was, wrapping up my road trip. And then I was like, what do I really want to do? And we were wrapping up a few other things with the company. It was like stable income. We had our projects, but we didn't really have the passion to grow it. So I was like, I always wanted to do trading. So that's when I went all in on trading. And that was like 2017, no, maybe like halfway through 2017. And that's when I was like doing crypto. I traded crypto for 2 years, and that was actually working pretty well, but I was driving myself a little bit insane with the 24/7 market. That's why I'm like kind of anti-Forex, anti any market that doesn't have an opening bell, at least for trading. For investing, sure, great. But yeah, for trading, it was too much. And then in 2019, right before Thanksgiving, I think it was like in October, all the brokerages in the USA were like, no more commission, no more commission. And I was like, man, screw trading crypto. It's a nightmare. It's expensive. It's a slow market in terms of day trading. Like, I find it very slow. I mean, when you look at small caps in the US, like US small caps, they're crazy, 2, 3, 500%, 3,000%. We've seen it all. So then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to stream every day, and I'm going to make a recap every day. I kind of got that idea, I think, a little bit from Ross, who was doing something similar at the time. And that's what I've been doing for the small account challenge. And then that leads me pretty much to where I am now as a full-time trader.
Wow.
So that's my story. Sorry.
And that's in 20. No, it was awesome. Yeah. 2019 is whenever, is that like, when did you start TradeJournal?
That actually, I started with the crypto stuff, but I started TradeJournal. That was like all Google Sheets. So every year the Google Sheets updated, and then it was kind of getting really hard to manage the versions. And I was like, a lot of people were asking me for it. And so I would, give people the versions, and then I would have like an update. It was a little tricky to always update these things. And I was like, screw it. Like, I've been doing web projects since I was like 16, 17 years old. Let me just put basically the Google Sheets into a simple, online trading journal that anyone can access. Plus, it's easier to share trades and stuff like that. With the Google Sheets, with the permissions, it was always a little confusing and messy. So yeah, that's kind of where TradeJournal started. I just started coding it on the side. So the first 2 years, the progress was very slow, because it was always like, oh, I had 2 hours here, 3 hours here. So it was kind of just very slowly. But now we have it's me, a developer. We had like 5 interns last year, but yeah, that was a lot to manage. That took a lot of my time. So if anything, we'd be looking to hire another developer at one point, if we keep growing, which right now we're growing really nice month over month. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I think the first time I ever saw you on YouTube was back in like 2019, and you were live streaming, and then I joined the Discord. Times. Yeah, dude, I used to always be commenting just whatever I could fucking think of in your YouTube videos, and you'd respond to me, and I'd be like, holy shit, they actually responded, because streaming was not, it wasn't like a popular thing until, I mean, it's probably been popular for like 5 years, but I didn't really start watching anyone streaming anything until like 2 years ago. So
that's how I remember it too, yeah.
It was interesting to like actually be able to interact with somebody in real time about something you're interested in. And I was always like, you would go into other streams, and a lot of the time it was either too big of a stream, so the person wouldn't notice you, like your comments or your questions or anything. So I'd go into the smaller streams, and they still wouldn't like respond, because people were just, I don't know, they were just shy or whatever. And I remember commenting on yours, and you would always respond and be like, oh, this is cool. I can actually like interact with a trader that's doing it professionally. And yeah.
It was fun hanging out with the community, but it's definitely distracting for sure. So I would miss a lot of trades. You probably saw that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of back and forth. It's tough to fully iron out. I think Relentless Trader is probably experiencing some of that, but he has great streams too. And yeah, I mean, it was a great way for all of us to kind of get to learn each other a little bit more one-on-one. That was really nice. Actually, I will say this: one of the funniest things about streaming is you don't like, if you're watching a stream, you don't really think about all the stuff going on behind the scenes, more or less. But like, to everyone else that was in my life, they started thinking I was a YouTuber. Like, oh, he's a YouTuber. Like, people would say that about me. I'm like, yo, like, I don't make any money off YouTube. Not even enough to cover like a beer expense at best. Like, it is not for it is not for, it's not my career. It was really weird because I always saw myself as a trader and first and foremost, and I still view myself, and I think I'll always view myself like that because I plan on trading for a really long time, or as long as possible. I love the financial markets and trading them. So that was a little bit weird because you gotta schlep all this stuff around. Oh my God, when I was traveling, I felt like I had a whole like studio with me every time. It was exhausting. So always, yeah, that was a lot. That's what made traveling so difficult. I think if I was only trading, I think it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I streamed a little bit. I don't know. I probably streamed for maybe like 5 or 6 months total out of my whole YouTube since I started it. And I don't know if that was, I guess it was January of last year. So it's been like a little over a year. And every single time I ever stream, I miss every fucking trade, every single one. Like, I mean, you look over for 2 seconds and then all of a sudden the whole trade's gone. And you're like, well, okay, well, I guess, I should be a YouTuber because I'm not fucking trading. So
yeah, it's a little bit one or the other. I felt like you can kind of get used to it, but I think if you really want to do both, you have to kind of ignore your chat room. And I had a hard time doing that. And like Ross Cameron, he doesn't look at the chat room, for example. So when he does his streams, I think that's really the only way, because you have to be dialed in if you're trading.
Yeah, in a way, it's almost easier when you have a shit ton of people watching it because you don't have to have this intimate audience. Like when I was streaming, it was always me, Nate, Gons, and like maybe 2 other people would pop in for like a minute or 2. But I was just interacting with them so much because, it's just us 3. So I should answer questions.
Yeah,
and shit
it's a bit weird if you ignore the handful of people in the room. That's how it started off with me too. We had a handful of people, then obviously COVID came along. Well, actually, it was already like around before COVID, we started growing nicely, but COVID was really a big spike because everyone was now home. So we were hitting like, I don't know what our numbers were, like 450 sometimes near the high. And then, you have just the stream going like crazy. You have to moderate it. I mean, at one point you're barely trading anymore. Actually, I always did most, and I think this is why I got so good at trading pre-market, is because I did all my trading pre-market, and then like at 9:30 I started streaming or whatever it was at the time, and then I would just be fully distracted. So like the hour and a half, 2 hours I would stream, I would be like, I don't know what's going on. I would place like 3 trades. It's embarrassing.
That's probably what started your whole like when the market opens, that's when I give back my profits type shit.
Dude, maybe that's where it all originated from. That's a stressful thought. Yeah. So that's why I don't really stream anymore. I like the quiet and focus. I even have earplugs that I wear sometimes that I just want to be like dialed in. But yeah, just no distractions.
Sweet. Toby, I remember, last week we talked a little bit about how you found the community, but what was your first experience with stocks?
I got into stock market, I think, fairly early on. My mom tried to teach me a little bit about it, and so she started me with a Roth IRA when I was, I think, still in high school, to be honest.
That's cool.
And we really didn't add on to it, but it was kind of the lesson of this is what you're supposed to do with your money, and if you want to have something built towards your retirement, you kind of keep putting it away. And then I started when I made the US ski team right after high school, I started picking up sponsorships and things like that. So I needed a place to start putting money away. So I hired a financial advisor and started really engaging with him and talking to him a lot about what was going on in the market. And then we started figuring out, he would give me some leeway of where I would like to put my stuff. And then he would say, well, that's a pretty good idea, I will agree with you, or that's a horrible idea. So it was a nice lesson. And so I think that's when I started getting the sponsors and started having some success with skiing. That's when I had the opportunity to start to learn about the market more and more. And then once I made the US ski team, I coached at summer camps and things of that nature. So I'd go to Whistler, Canada, or go to New Zealand and coach kids and adults how to ski moguls. And I met this guy, Kevin Robick, and he was working with, I think, Bear Stearns at the time. And he was a big financial guy. And so, I really started getting into it, talking to him. And, he lived a life of luxury. He had, the nice cars. And
real quick, is he broke now?
No,
he was embarrassed.
he got out before that. But yeah, he's the man. He was teaching me about a bunch of stuff, but at the same time, I just, was kind of in awe of his lifestyle, being like, wow, this is something that you really can make a living out of this. And then I never really thought about it again. Of course, I always thought about my portfolio and stuff, but it was just a managed account by my broker, but or my advisor. But then come COVID and being stuck in China and not being allowed to leave our training facilities, I had to figure out or I didn't have to figure out a way, but I had so much downtime. I was like thinking, there's no way I can continue on with this coaching career stuff. It was killing me. I was away from home for too long. And then being in China, we weren't even allowed to leave the building. So like we weren't allowed to go outside and get food or anything of that nature. So it was pretty difficult. All the food that they served us was kind of buffet style. And of course it was all Chinese food and was all geared towards the athletes. So it was it was kind of a rough existence. They wouldn't even allow us to leave our, we had a training facility, so we had like a small area that we're allowed to move around in, and there was a gym there, but they weren't even allowing us at time to go to the gym. Only the athletes were allowed to go to the gym and work out. So I mean, we'd just sitting in our rooms doing nothing for a long
That's brutal
time. And so that's when I started getting into, okay, I need to do something. How am I going to make money outside? How am I going to make money? And I don't want to do this traditional job stuff anymore. And, of course, YouTube, I turn on YouTube and I'm just laying in bed or something, watching YouTube. And if I get like a advertisement about, wow, day trading, I'm like, well, I know all day traders lose money. I went down the rabbit hole a little bit and I found Ross Cameron and started watching all his videos. And then I found Alex Winkler and started watching all of his videos. And then before I knew it, I signed on with TradeJournal and trying to figure out how to do the Google Sheets and then copy them off the Google Sheets and all that stuff. And like you were saying earlier, Alex, like I kept getting like the wrong version, so it wasn't kind of syncing up correctly. But it was great. So I was watching a lot of your live streaming and a lot of like Ross's old videos of his live streams, and kind of got the bug, and just I probably should have done some paper trading and things of that nature and just kind of taking it easy. But I kind of just opened an account and just threw some money at it and let her rip. I wasn't trading big share size or anything, but just to see how it was going. And the first couple of weeks, trades are easy. You get that beginner's luck. You're like, oh, this is pretty easy stuff. You can just make a trade, make a couple $100 and be done for the day. And then I found out it's a grind. It's, the beginner's luck wears off very quickly. And then you're seeing yourself lose money very quickly. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And then it's like, well, this is obviously something that I can't do into the future. If I'm going to be losing money every day, I'm going to be broke and be in a bad situation. So I kind of had to reinvent myself 3 or 4 times throughout this last year, trying to figure out how to become a profitable trader.
That's awesome. Sounds like everything pretty much everyone does. It's like the same story for every trader, really. For me, at least, in high school, I remember my dad has always been a little bit interested in the stock market, but he's the guy that just puts money in, he's never traded or anything. He just has a person that manages all of his funds and whatever. But the first time I ever was even introduced to anything is I had a friend, and the one time he left class and was on the phone, and I was like, why'd you leave class? It was in high school. I was like, why'd you leave class? It's probably in like 2015 or something. And he was like, oh, I had to make a trade because I was up on this trade, because he had to call the broker or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you can trade in high school? And I was like, okay, this is a little weird. So I downloaded like some app that was a simulator with the same market data. And I don't know what the hell happened, but I went all in on like GM or something for no reason. And the next day I was up like $1 million fake money in this account. And I was like number 5 in like the fucking world on this stupid app on my phone. And I was like, holy shit, this is insane. And that was like the first time I ever was even anything happened with the stock market for me. And then I go to college. I'm not involved with the market at all until I had a girlfriend at the time, and we were together for like 3 years, and we broke up. And Tim Sykes, he was a tennis player in high school, and he like broke his arm or some shit. And he would tell people that since he broke his arm, it was like $1 million injury, because him breaking his arm made him be a trader because he didn't want to play tennis anymore because he was good at it. And then since he became a trader, he became a millionaire or whatever. So he would always tell people that was like $1 million injury or whatever. So I thought that to myself. I was like, ooh, this is painful that me and my girlfriend broke up. I'm gonna make this $1 million breakup. So I literally took a piece of paper and I wrote like on a piece of paper, I said like 1 million in 5 years. Something like that. I don't know. I stuck it right on my door. So like every day when I walk out my door, my bedroom, I would see it. And yeah, I mean, it all started with Tim Sykes. I pretty much watched every video he ever created. And then kept doing that for a while. And then COVID hits. I get like $6,000 from the government from filing for unemployment, because it was the moment I got out of college. Can't get a job anywhere. And the government was just giving away free money. All my friends were like, dude, if you just sign up for this unemployment shit online, they'll give you $6,000. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. I do it. Immediately, they just sent me like $6,000. It was the dumbest shit ever. So I'm trading with, dude, it was crazy. The first trade I ever took in my life. Okay. This is my next question I'm going to ask you guys, which was my biggest win ever. Okay. So I put all of that $6,000 to this day, my first trade I ever took in my life was government money. Crazy. And it was my biggest win ever. And okay, I just bought it. I bought Spirit Airlines. It was right when COVID crash happened. So every stock is down 50%, probably more. Spirit Airlines, I bought it for no fucking reason at all. I literally was just like, I like flying Spirit. And
said no one ever.
No, seriously. I'm like, Spirit's a good company. They're cheap, I'm whatever. So I buy Spirit Airlines. I wake up the next morning and I check TD Ameritrade, like not even in any urgency or anything. I just look at my phone, plus 700. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, I was amazed. Spirit Airlines went up 15% overnight. I just got super lucky, whatever, made $750. And then that was like the day where I was like, all right, well, I'm never doing any hard labor again in my life. I'm never going to get a job again. And I'm never going to have to make money from any other way so that's how it started. And then ever since then, I've been chasing that win. And my biggest win to this day, besides that one, is like $150.
That's with the futures, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've had swing trades that I've had like a couple $1,000 winners, but nothing that
strategy.
Yeah. In terms of like legitimate trading, like I was looking at my stats the other day. I was like, when was the first trade I ever took? And it was in 2019. And I was like, I haven't been trading for 4 years. There's no way. And then I was looking back, and like when I actually started trading daily, it was pretty much March of 2020. So I'd say about like 2 years of full time now. Not like
that's a really important observation for sure. It's like, when did you really get serious? Because if I look back, technically I placed trades in college, and then I placed some trades even before then. But and what counts as like this strategy going forward. So for me as well, like even when I started in 2019 to stream, I didn't have a strategy. I was basically, I'm going to do some sort of like top gappers. And then I was like trying to figure out what that even meant and how to go from there. So where did you start doing that specific strategy for sure?
Yeah, I honestly don't. Everything before that is just noise, really. That's why it's so funny that like my first trade ever, I make $750. It's so fucking hilarious. That is just amazing to me. Like, I'll never let go of that. The day that I make $750 in one day from like legitimate, my ideas, I came up with this plan, I have this strategy, I made this money, XYZ. I'm fucking throwing a party and I'm spending every damn dollar of that $750.
Nice.
You're close. I can feel it. You're getting better and better.
Bigger winners. It's getting
bigger
there.
winners, more consistency.
Slowly.
Yeah.
to me, still the number one most important thing for trading is your bankroll. So like, that's why like, even so far into it, like, could I be trading one ES contract where it's technically 250 shares of the SPY and I go for 10-point moves and on one day I can make $500? Sure, I could try that. But like, why would I do that if my number one most important asset is my bankroll? And if I lose that, I have nothing. I can't do anything. And I don't want to, you know, have to stop trading for 3 or 6 months to build a bankroll back up through a job. So my whole philosophy is like, figure out what your monthly expenses are, make sure you can, if you're going to use your trading account for that, do it. And then pretty much guarantee to yourself that you're trading not for income right now. You're trading for fucking learning and education. So I totally plan for my account to basically go to zero by the time I'm successful. And that's my whole plan, is like, I expect my account to probably go to zero before I'm like actually successful at trading, because I'm going to use that all for like education money, basically, in terms of losses, not like paying someone to teach me.
Tuition can be expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Education's really expensive when you're using $2,000 position size as a starter in small caps, and you're just like, oh, this is how I'm going to learn. I can lose $200 a day. Yeah, do that for 5 days. You just lost $1,000 fucking dollars in 1 week, you know? So
yeah, it's like when I quickly pivoted to options. I had like a 3K winner, a 3K loser.
Yeah.
That was hectic. That was really hectic.
All right. So Alex, what was your biggest win ever in terms of trading? And that can be either like with a specific strategy that you're doing now, or just like ever in terms of like maybe like a swing crypto position or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that, because I did have a crypto swing position. Let me share my screen here for a second. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are my stats, and I don't have any of my crypto stuff here. I do have like, actually that's fake news. I have like a few crypto things here. It's down like 1,500, but this is like a few tiny positions that I don't know. This was none of her part of my actual trading crypto thing. This was just a few things I was holding after that phase. So I should go back and document everything, but I would probably have to do that somewhat manually because it's all over these random brokers. But I had, I think it was XRP, and there was like a perfect first stare on XRP on the daily. And I put in, I think like $7,000, and I wasn't trying to day trade it. I was like, okay, this looks good, because I remembered, from a few years back, like, okay, chart patterns and stuff. I understood what it was, getting support. This was, I forgot what year this was. I think it was also like around 2017 or something. And it went from like 50 cents or slightly below that to like 270. No, I think it was even like from 27 cents to like, I should remember this a little bit more clearly. I have a whole blog post on it I could share. I have a whole blog post on it because I was like so stoked about it. It went from, roughly like, let's say 30 cents to like 250. And then we had that big wick down that you see after you go, like, let me show my face again here. Stop sharing. So when, a ticker goes like exponential, basically parabolic, some people say, and then it has like a huge flush down and then it pops right back up again. Like on the daily chart now, imagine it could also be on the 1 minute chart, but this was the daily. I basically sold everything on that almost perfect retest of the highs. And I made, I think it was like 45,000 or something in the 40,000s. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, that was so nice. But then I ended up investing most of that in crypto, and almost all of it went to zero, unfortunately, which would have not been the case, but we got hacked and during one of the bear markets, and most of that, some of that investment was in there, some other stuff. And I lost like 27,000 in that hack. And that put a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth with crypto. And then I built up a second crypto portfolio slowly. And then that was in BlockFi. And I lost, I don't know, like 50,000 on that one. And I was like, oh my God, crypto's not working out for me. Between those two losses, that was pretty heavy of losses. So yeah, not so important for this. What I think, I'll share my screen again for what we're talking about, biggest loss, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or biggest win,
No,
biggest loss and
or
biggest win.
Okay, so in terms of like day trading momentum, this is actually really funny because when I went through my stats here, I was really pleasantly surprised to see what I found. So my biggest losing trade is 2,000. My biggest winning trade is 5,000. And this one is actually an options accidental trade. I didn't even take a screenshot. It was a call that it was like one. So this one's not even worth talking about, but this is really cool. And this is my day trading momentum front side strategy, which I think I'm going to iron down. We could talk about this in future podcasts to only trading pre-market potentially for this front side strategy. I think that's a different topic anyway. So if I go here to largest losing trade really fast, this is crazy because first of all, this trade is so ugly. So don't make fun of me. I don't know what I was smoking during this day, but I take a trade here and I like lose a little bit. And then for some reason I size into a backside and I don't cut my losses until there's like a flush here. And then I cut my losses. This, like looking at this trade now, like knowing what front side, backside, VWAP, everything is, this is like the worst trade I could have done. First of all, I don't trade backside anymore, period. And like, this is just, what am I doing? You know, where's my risk management? It's so embarrassing, this trade, but it's kind of funny here. So my notes, I was like, okay, I have a perma ban on backside for the next 2 weeks. I put it in my calendar when I was allowed to trade backside again. So I thought that was really, really funny. Nope. Held this sucker to my max stop while averaging down. So averaging into losers. Like when I look at this trade, because you told us today to look up our biggest winners, biggest losers. I looked up this trade and I was like, oh my God, this trade is like the embodiment of everything we talk about, where, you know, don't average into losers, you know, specifically when the thesis is over. You know, be careful being a long bias trader, trading the backside, all these like core things I did wrong in this trade. And this was my biggest losing trade in this strategy. And I think there's so many lessons to pull out of it. So I thought it was a really cool one to be able to share with you guys.
That's cool. That was 2 years ago too, like pretty much.
Yeah, 2 years ago, huh? I was about to go through my personal journal and I was like, what the hell was I doing on Feb 4th? Like, why? How, like what mental state? Because I also said something right here. I said I was foggy in my head. So maybe I was hungover or something, or I was sick, because there was a time where on some of my streams where I was really sick or something, but I was still streaming and still forced myself to trade. And I don't really do that anymore. So something must have been wrong, because this is a really horrible trade. At least I stopped out eventually, but you know, then, you know, I don't know, who knows what would have happened, but it doesn't matter. The second trade, the biggest win, and this is crazy. This is also really crazy. It's like going full circle. So this was a front side, of course, and it wasn't even that big size. It was 5.4 thousand, max amount 600 shares. Can that be right? Oh yeah, it's a more expensive stock. And I have some notes on it, but this is crazy. Accidentally overnight trade. It was an
I remember this shit.
So this trade, it was a new gapper, and we
oh my God, this is legendary shit right here. I remember this on your stream. You were like, yeah, so I woke up and I was up 5K this morning.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And I think at the time my biggest green day was like, I don't know, $1,500 or something, maybe 2,000, because I know that was my biggest green day for a while. And yeah, how crazy was this? So I had a limit order here that I forgot to remove. I think I don't know when I placed it. I don't even like, it's hard for me to even conceptualize because it doesn't even make sense. Oh no, here's what happened. Now I remember. So I entered here with 600 shares and I only closed 300 shares. And for some reason, I thought I closed everything. I turned off TOS, ended the stream, blah, blah, blah. And the next day, you know, it's up here. I get online. It's from 9:26 to 35. And I just, you know, 7 a.m. retail traders can trade on TOS. I just close it because I'm like, I don't know what the heck's going on. obviously, you know, pumps up a little bit more. So maybe some FOMO came from that. But you guys know what have I been working on? Holding longer, going for, you know, daily swings. And those have been working really well for me. I've been getting, you know, big winners, 30% winners and stuff, which I never do with this other strategy. I need to iron it out a little bit more, and I've been working on it like crazy, and I can't wait to share more about it with you guys, because I think I'm making some really good progress on it today alone. A lot of it is really hands off now, where I set my stop, my profit target. Unless it's a first gapper, I don't want a profit target. I just have to stop. And so it's kind of like recreating this accidental trade is basically what I'm working on doing. But it's really interesting. So I'm happy you asked us to check those out.
That's a really good lesson too about the new strategy, because one of the things that you keep bringing up about this strategy is the fact that you should not watch the price action whenever you're doing it, because it's much easier to just take bracket orders, let the trade go, don't overmanage it, just let it sit. And then obviously the one trade you ever took that was your biggest winner is that exact thing.
It's crazy,
that's
huh?
So funny. Yeah.
And
well, that's great examples.
Yeah. That's why it's so good to go through your stats. You can't click here and like sort from your top losers or winners. We're actually going to update this and fix that. It's not, for some reason, it was a lot more complicated than we expected. It was going to be a quick fix, but nothing ever turns out to be quick in coding. I swear, it's like the biggest headache. But yeah, this is going to be sortable. So right now you can only see your largest winners here, or by, you know, obviously narrowing down the dates. So if you want to like only for January or so. But then let's say I will be able to now see in the future all of my biggest winners and biggest losers. And that's going to help me in the future be like, okay, what are my biggest winners this month? Let's go through the top 10, see what I did right. What are my biggest losers? Let's see what I can avoid going forward so I never do those mistakes again, or at least set up systems to make sure I mitigate the risk of me doing those mistakes again, or the likelihood, I should say. Yeah.
All right, Toby, let's hear it. What do you got? Biggest win, biggest loss.
I was just looking at my stats too. My biggest loss was $3,500, which I remember that trade. Like, you know, I did the same thing as, or well, not exactly the same as Alex, but I was deep, like probably about 1,500 negative, and then I was like, okay, I want to average down, and it kept sliding on me, and then I froze. I was like, holy shit, this is such a large amount of money to be losing. And I had no clue what to do. Like, can't rewind the clock. You can't do anything. The best thing to do at that time is just take your mess and just get out of the trade. But I just kept letting it sit, thinking it was going to bounce back at some point, and it never did. And eventually just had to, you know, sack up and just close it and just take the loss. So that was, and you know what, it was a tough lesson, but I've done it again since then. Definitely.
Yep.
Not quite to that extent, but I've definitely had a couple of them get away on me a couple of times. And that's really what I've been working on a lot, is to keep myself from doing that and freezing. And now I'm getting a lot better at just cutting it and not even looking at the P&L. I don't care what the number is. If it's going negative on me, I just got to get out and then reassess what's going on. And I'm trying to get to a point where I just even take like a 5-minute break and get away from my computer too, because a lot of times I'll take a losing trade and then full size hop right back in, saying, okay, I want to make it back right away, and you're already trying to catch a ticker that's going against you. It's going to keep going against you, and then you lose even more. So those are some of the tough lessons that I've learned with the bigger losers. The biggest winner was 25,000, or not 2,500, and that was when BBBY was going hard in, like I think it was June or something. I think I can share it probably. So, well, you can't find the trade probably because I made like 5 million that day. But this was my biggest winner. And it was
where was this one?
2,000 shares, 1056 on, oh no, it was August, not June, August 16th.
2022 was a tough year.
So it was probably somewhere right around here.
Wow.
It doesn't even look that like like a bad spot to. Oh, 1020. I think it's that flush, that big red candle. Maybe that's
No,
what it is.
this was my biggest winner, $2,500.
Oh, okay. Why was I thinking biggest loser? Never mind.
So yeah, that was my biggest winner. I'm pretty sure I still was negative on the day though, even with a $2,500 winner, because you can see I overtraded and I was doing fairly big buys and
That's
another lesson
absolutely
learned.
amazing.
What'd you say, Alex?
What can you walk through this trade, at least the one you think it is, and just like what was your size, what was your strategy, mentality?
My size, I took 2,000 shares, and then I just kept. I remember I was kept like kind of like just selling a little bit, buying a little bit, selling a little bit, and then just kind of rode this curve right up here before that drop down here.
Wow, that's pretty insane.
You probably traded like maybe $2 or $3 million worth of dollar volume in that day. Because each position size is what, like 80,000.
Yeah, I was.
That is the definition of, if you want to make more money, don't trade more. Well, maybe not, don't look at the picture, but size up. That's really what it is, size up. That's a 3% profit trade.
Yeah. Well, like I watched your YouTube yesterday, Alex, and then like you said, I think you said something like that in there too. Like, it's definitely the key is not trading more. I feel like it took me a long time to get to the realization of the more trades you make, the more risk you're putting on yourself.
Yeah. There's only 2-3 with the small cap quick trading that we do, maybe even like 10 sometimes a day, but probably less, usually like 5. With the SPY that Colby does, or futures, I mean, you're talking like 1, 2, max 3 setups a day that are really worth trading. So you're not trading more necessarily if you want to make more money. It's basically just sizing up. Otherwise, you're taking on that extra risk, like you mentioned.
Yeah, you take on a lot of extra risk the more trades you do, I believe, for sure. And I've overtraded a million times for sure. And I love trading, so it's kind of one of those double-edged swords, because I would like to just sit there and be able to trade all day. It's kind of a cool thing to be able to do, but at the same time, it's not going to help my wallet or my bank account.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like I don't know, you're like hanging out with the boys and you just want to play video games for like 3 hours, but with trading, it just doesn't work like that. Like the longer you're in the market, like I'll have these amazing pre-markets. I'll be up 2,000 sometimes, and then I spend the next hour and a half, basically till 11 a.m. or so, going to max loss. And those are the most frustrating days ever. Like, I'm destroyed at the end of those days. Like, I'll walk in the living room, just lay on the floor. My girlfriend's like, uh-oh, what happened? Or she already knows what happened. But, I'm like, I'm so mentally exhausted on those days. So I'm really thinking about just trading like 90 minutes or so. I don't think I could do any more than that.
I kind of like that idea you have too. I wouldn't mind that strategy of just trade pre-market. There's enough opportunity there.
There really is. Or maybe if you're on the West Coast, just trade let's say market open till 10:30 or something like that. But like, get really good at one specific time slot, I think is better than, because if I start trading at 7 a.m. and I want to trade till 11, I'm looking at the screen for 4 hours. Not to mention, I'm in Europe, so I start trading then at 1 p.m. So then it'd be 5 p.m. when I wrap up, but I already had a morning work session. I wake up at like 5:50 and I work. And then it's like on coding and all these other things that I do. I studied today. I studied straight 4 hours straight pre-market or in the morning. And, then you're just exhausted. Like you have decision fatigue. Like I can feel myself making worse and worse and more emotional trades. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really tricky because like one of the problems with trading is that we all want it to be our full-time income. But the problem with that is, like, most people will start out trading and you make money from something else. And that takes up, let's say, like 7 or 8 hours of your day. And a lot of people don't realize like that's a very big benefit actually to have something that takes up a shit ton of your day, because trading is so addicting that you will sit there and you will trade all fucking day if you can. And it takes so many years to realize that like, holy shit, I'm addicted to trading. Like it took me so long to get to the point where I'm now like, I'm only taking a trade if it's these 5 things happen and this is a perfect setup. And then now I have to kind of pull it back a little bit because I'm missing so many good trades now because I'm too patient. So it kind of goes into a little bit into the next question I was going to ask is like, are you using trading as your full-time income? Or do you have other sources of income? And how does that affect your trading whenever you are using it as your full-time income, or if you have those other sources?
Toby, you want to go?
Yeah, so for me, it's I'm trying to do it as my full-time income. I don't have any side work or anything that I'm doing currently. Definitely puts a little more stress on you knowing that your money has to be coming from somewhere. I'm fortunate I have some extra money in the bank that if things go really south, I'll be able to bail myself out for a few months at least, no problem. But it's something that I'm really confident that I can do, and I'm going to keep working hard to do it. And I don't need to make a lot right now. I just enough to get by is kind of the goal. And that's why I have a lot of days where I'm like recently where I'm just starting to cut it up 300, up $400, done for the day. Don't get myself into that situation where, okay, I was green and then I'm max loss and then I'm still trading.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to really work on my discipline is the best thing you can call it. Just keep working on discipline, I'm trying to be more patient, and that's been actually working out a lot for me as well. Waiting for the trades to come, not just jumping onto anything. I used to jump onto almost anything. If it's moving, I'm going. And I'm trying to get some, setups going and stuff like that. And it's been working out a lot better.
Sometimes you have to just jump on it in this kangaroo market. If it pops you got to take it. Ross is really good at that. I don't know how he does it so well. He'll trade this, little weaseling 1 minute candle that comes out of nowhere with no volume, and then it just shoots up 50%. To me, that's not my style. I realized it, and I just don't do it because I always get burnt on those. So it's fine.
I don't know how he does it with the volume. He does it like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's usually a big spread. So if it goes south on you just a little bit, you're deep in the hole already.
Yeah, I don't even like being over like 5% of the volume, and some of those positions he is the volume candle, so it's like. But I've seen him get burnt. I've seen him get burnt on those a few times, but yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, he likes to be the market maker and the trader.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna buy the shares to sell to I don't know whoever later. It's crazy. The buyer at last resort.
All right, Alex, what about you?
Trading full-time income, or do I have other sources of income? I mean, obviously I have other sources of income.
Like how important is that to you to have other sources?
I think it's critical. Like, Hike and I, we still have some business that we do together, and it really frees up the mind. Like there was a time where I started trading. No, when I was trading crypto, it was turning into some of my income, and I was trying to invest a lot. So I was constantly taking money out of my crypto account, and that put so much mental pressure on me, because I was like, I have to make, I don't know, some arbitrary number this week or this month. Otherwise I can't do X, and it would put all this extra fuel on my, take fuel out of my tank in a way. I got really emotional about my trading. So what I do mostly now is trade in my IRA, and I just know I can't really take money out. There are ways to take money out of IRA ahead of time, like if your first house and stuff like that. That's a whole different, topic. Or even if you do need the money, like let's say you grow $10,000 to $1 million, which sounds like crazy if you're not a trader. But if you're a trader, you're like, yeah, that actually makes sense. You just grew tax-free that money, right? So And then if you want to take out, let's say $100,000, you only have to pay a 10% penalty on top of your income tax. So it's actually not that bad if you really do need to take money out of your Roth IRA, because you still made it to $1 million without paying taxes. Otherwise, you would have had to pay, let's say, 50% taxes on that, or up to, if you live in like New York City, you got state, city, and federal taxes then. So that's why I mostly trade my IRA to reduce the stress. But to answer I guess the original question of, full-time income, yeah, in theory, this is my primary job. I mean, even YouTube, it swings like crazy. Some months I had in the past when I was streaming, I would make slightly north of 1,000. Right now, I think I make $40 a month off of YouTube. So like, it's crazy how volatile it is. It's more volatile than my trading statistics. It's crazy. So you can't rely on YouTube, I feel like, for income. And yeah, I mean, I would say the most grounding thing is really like all the projects I did in the past. I had several companies, and those things are still churning out. They're like dividend stocks at this point. So yeah. But,
cool. For me, I did try, like right when I first started trading, I tried to make it my full-time income immediately. And then like Alex was saying, is like every week I would be like, it would start out that at the end of the month, I'd be like, all right, I'll take out like $700 because that was my monthly expenses, close to that. It's really even less than that because I still live at my home that I grew up in. And I did that for a while. And then after about a year of me trying to trade and make that a full-time income, I basically was like, okay, if I even assume for one day that I'm going to use trading as my income, trading is awful because I trade like shit because I try to make money. And whenever you try to make money in the market just slaps the shit out of you. You can never go into the market and demand returns. It'll crush you. And so that happened to me every day for a year. And then I guess it was probably like 7 or 8 months ago, like a little bit early into last year, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to take any money out of my accounts anymore trading. It's not going to be anything I use for income. It's going to be trading is trading. And if I need money, I have to find a way to make it elsewhere. So I do some, like I'll do like landscaping and like just any kind of freelance job. I'll take it in the summers, which works actually pretty well. And then right now, so my family grew up on 70 acres in like Western Pennsylvania. So we have all this land and we have this awesome like pond over here that's really cool and pretty. And I was like, shit, I've been seeing all these Airbnbs recently that are glamping Airbnbs. And it's like a tent basically that's like has a cool deck and it has like a shower and a bathroom and like a wood burning stove and all this, like, I don't know, people from the city like to just do that shit to pretend like they're camping. And I was like, fuck, I could build one of those on my property and like it would not change anything about the property because we have 70 acres. It takes up like 100 feet of fucking space. So at the end of summer last year, actually it was more of like in October probably, I started building this cabin and I built this awesome cabin. I spent like $5,000 on it. And I couldn't do anything obviously throughout the winter, but for the summer, I'm hoping to just get it finished as quickly as possible and then rent it out.
Right.
Hopefully that can make me, I don't know, if I have like a 70% occupancy rate, which is being extremely optimistic, and I'm charging like 150 a night, I could still make like anywhere from like 5 to 10 grand over just the summer months, which would be great for me because I'm living basically as cheap as I possibly human being could live in America. So, because I don't have to pay rent.
America's expensive.
Yeah, dude, not paying rent is like a game changer because if I had to do that alone, I would have to get a job. There's just no fucking way possible that. Yeah. So,
I mean, if Tom was here, he'd also say like having a second source of income is critical. He's at training right now for a job, nice work from home job. So he's going to be able to still trade after his training is done. And I think that's really almost the key, to have that flexibility.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that I can do like at nights. Like I would love to do, like my one buddy, he used to like stock UPS warehouses at like 4 a.m. And I was like, dude, I'll fucking take that job. It was like $20 an hour. I'll do that shit. or like a bartender or something like that. But I think that in general, the more I trade, the more I realize that this is an extremely, extremely, extremely important aspect that people don't really talk about, because everyone wants that. I trade and I only trade and that's it. But like, even the best traders in the whole world, sometimes they have years where they're just in a drawdown, like a year straight. Madaz Money, he's a multi-millionaire, small cap primarily trader. Well, he was like a while ago. He does everything now, but he made $12 million in the first 3 months of 2020. And then from that to the end of the year, he lost 5 million. And then all of 2021, he lost about 700K. I know, right? He lost 700K all of 2021. And now 2022, he's had like a 45-day green streak right now. But I mean, he made $12 million in 3 months. And he made a video that basically he was talking about how if he keeps on track, he's going to make $40 million that year. And then a year and a half later, he's down like pretty much 6 million from that 12. So he's like, I'm going to make 40. And he ended up with only 6. So, I mean, but.
Well, I mean, I guess at that point you take 2 million out and you don't have to worry about a second job, right? Or something like that, right? And then but you make sure you don't spend it all. What does he trade? I don't know this guy.
Oh, you got to look him up. He has the craziest, like there's a GameStop trade he has on YouTube where he made $1 million in one trade.
What's his name?
Madaz Money, M-A-D-A-Z. It's fucking nuts. Like you gotta watch his videos on YouTube. Whenever I want to get like into like trading like hype mood, I'm like, oh, I love trading so much. I'll fucking watch his $1 million video where he made $1 million on GameStop in one day. He was taking 4,000 shares at like 100 on that day. It went from 400 to 100 in like 6 seconds.
Is this the right website? The right guy?
Yeah. So go scroll down a little bit, and you'll see his P&L. Profit since 2011. If you click on that, it might
every time I see a Lambo and a trader, I'm like, this can't be real.
Yeah, if you click on one of those, it'll show you like a graph of his, but it just does from now. If you do from like the start, make it like, I guess it already has 2020, so you'll see in this chart here, he goes the whole way up to 12 million, and then he breaks it down.
I wonder where this data is coming from.
Not from TradeJournal, because it'd be uploaded already.
We did just upgrade our server. Yeah, okay, wow, he's in a giant drawdown, huh? What's going on?
Yeah, when I see something like that,
I would have to look into this a little bit more. Feels
no, dude, he's legit. Everyone knows him. He's been on like a bunch of trading podcasts like Chat with Traders, and yeah, I'm surprised you don't know him. He's one of the top people on YouTube that I always used to watch. He made he made a bunch of money back when trading was like getting all the hype in 21 and all that. But
this is why I like these bots so much, because I feel like I'm always learning about sometimes really cool things that I should know. So I'm happy you shared it.
Yeah, whenever I see his P&L, that's when I'm like, okay, it's very important for the long run to have many, many sources of income, because I don't want to ever fucking go a year where I made $10 million in 3 months last year and I'm just struggling. That would crush me. It would crush me mentally.
You just don't want to spend it all, right? I mean, if you make 10 million, you could take out 20% of that and leave the rest in or whatever. But if you have a couple million in the bank or whatever, maybe in some dividend portfolio, you're going to be cheesing, because like, even if you do have like 2 million in a dividend portfolio and you're making 5% or so a year, like the most conservative estimate, you're still going to be walking away with like 100,000. That's obviously not like crazy money, but that's a money that you'll never need to work again, just having dividends, so that's what I think at this point. Although I think the second job, more so than the income, specifically for me, like, for example, TradeJournal, it's cash flow negative, but it's a real hobby project. And, it's growing into more than that, but that's really what it started as. So I learn a lot. I learn a lot about coding. I kind of use a different part of my brain, which I really enjoy. It's like these really complex problems that take a while to really think about, as opposed to trading where it's sometimes a little bit more reactive and quick. So I do like that second job, quote unquote, but really it's more like just to distract myself from trading a little bit. I think there's a lot of value there, because as we were talking about before, just trading 60, 90 minutes, sometimes all you need to do.
Yeah, for sure. Having a multitude of hobbies is definitely super important. Like even like guitar has saved me a ton of money, because I'll be sitting there playing guitar and missing trades that I probably shouldn't even be taking anyway. And like it pays to be distracted sometimes, because it's hilarious that trading is the only job in the fucking world where you can work more and make way less. So
yeah, and there's nothing more frustrating than it's like, sometimes, like I was saying earlier, I'm up 2,000 after 45 minutes or 60 minutes of trading, and then I proceed to give it back the rest of the day. So you work longer to make less, and it's one of the most frustrating places to be as a trader, for sure, hands down. So yeah, you need something else to do. If I wasn't in Berlin at the moment, I would do a lot more nature stuff. I grew up at the beach, like water sports. I feel like I'd be doing something like that. In Berlin, it's a little difficult. Who knows how long I'm going to keep living here? It's like you always have to go clubbing or something. I don't even like clubbing. So that takes out like 90% of the options for Berlin. No, it's not that bad, but it's definitely that kind of city.
How are we doing for time? I set a timer like a little bit after we started, but I'm at like 50 minutes right now. I don't know if you guys want to keep going or not.
We're cool. Definitely good. You got a few more questions for sure.
Cool. All right, Toby, I'm gonna ask you this one. What aspect of life are you most disciplined in? Whether that's like exercising, eating healthy, daily meditation, studying for trading, or whatever. And how have you used that discipline to translate it into day trading?
Well, I definitely don't meditate, so that's off the books. I think my background is attributed a lot to my success overall in life. To be a professional athlete, you have to be extremely disciplined, and you have to be able to do a lot of things that most people wouldn't want to put themselves through. Small things like you said, nutrition, of course, being able to go to the gym every day when you don't feel like it, but even more so, like not seeing friends and family, not having like a lot of close friends because you're traveling and you're focused so much on becoming the best athlete you can be. So I've learned how to really, to really become very disciplined with how I do everything. And I think that I could translate into a lot of different aspects in life, to run a business, to when I was being a coach, to as a professional athlete. These are kind of the key things to be able to. I'm very, very okay to get myself into a schedule, have a routine, and stick with it. That just comes almost second nature to me. I don't even have to complain or think about it. Just wake up like a robot and do it again the next day.
Yeah, I mean, employees love hiring anyone that's been a professional athlete for that exact reason. My little brother, he wrestles, and he's the most disciplined person that I know, and he's always talking about how, like discipline is really a tricky thing because it cannot be taught. Like there's a lot of things you can learn in life from other people, and discipline is not one of them. Like if you have disciplined parents, that does not mean at all that you are going to be disciplined. You have to learn through basically knowing that every single day, if you do one thing that you really don't want to do, but it's good for you, if you just eventually do that all the time, every day, no matter what, no matter how badly you don't want to do it, you just slowly form that muscle. And then it just relates back to it. It starts translating into almost every aspect of your life. I mean, that's what I've noticed for me, at least. It's like, I was not really a disciplined person growing up, but I became disciplined through trading, I think, which is kind of backwards because I feel like it'd be a lot easier if I was disciplined in other ways. And then I got it for trading. But for me, my discipline started like when I was thinking like, well, why am I trading every day and not even looking over what I did? I feel like if I'm just trading and not reviewing any mistakes, then I can just repeat those mistakes endlessly and I'll never even realize what I'm doing wrong because I'm not even reviewing my mistakes. Like a mistake is okay to make. It's not okay to repeat. So yeah. And then after doing that for a while, like I find myself working out every single day now. I meditate mostly every day. I stretch in the mornings when I wake up. I love cooking and eating healthy. And yeah, I think trading actually made me way more disciplined in my normal life. So what about you, Alex?
No, I couldn't agree anymore. Like, I always, I'm a bit more like you. Like, in a way, I was kind of disciplined, but trading definitely put the nail in the coffin when it comes to like a very disciplined lifestyle. I mean, you're kind of tied to the clock a little bit, like, you know, like, oh, like I didn't trade today, the market open, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna lock it in again, kind of what Toby was saying. And I was like having like a nervous breakdown. I was going on a walk with my girlfriend. It was like 9:30 Eastern time. So here it was 3:30. And I was like, oh, this is the first time I think I've been outside in like 3 years at 3:30. It's like,
That's so funny.
like, I was like, all these people around me, they're not traders. Like, so yeah, you get really, really disciplined as a trader. And I think it's great. I know my girlfriend's always telling me, she's always like, yeah, I think Alex, you're the most disciplined person I know. And yeah, you just get into these routines and they can be really, really beneficial. So in terms of like what aspect in my life I'm the most disciplined is, that's a really tough one. Like I definitely exercise every day, you know, since I was growing up surfing and then being in sports and stuff like that. I feel like exercise is just like key. Like I'll never really go a week without some sort of exercise. And most of the time it's at least 5 times a week I'm working out. Even on my road trip, that was 6 months long. Me and my friend made it a habit. Every new city we went to a gym, got like a day pass, and we were in a new city pretty much every other day. So we were still working out over half the week. I don't meditate, but like I said, I work out a lot, eat pretty healthy. I do intermittent fasting, and every Monday I fast a full 24 hours. And you can pretty much ask me, Alex, it's 10 a.m. tomorrow, what are you going to be doing? And I could tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing tomorrow and every day. So like every day I'm like clockwork basically, unless I'm on a holiday and I take totally off. Like last year I took like a whole week off or something like that. Yeah.
That's like pretty much, that's exactly how I am. Every single Monday through Friday, it's always the exact same, except for Friday afternoons. They change a little bit because it's the weekend, but like I give myself Saturday and Sunday to kind of like do whatever shitty things I need to do for whatever. And then Monday through Thursday, I'm on the fucking clock. There's no minute that is not planned. Like there's not enough time in a day to even, like, it's crazy. The older you get, the days get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. There's no time to do anything.
Dude, we're halfway through the first quarter of the year.
Like last night, I was like, shit, I want to make a YouTube video. And it was like 8:30. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do, because my girlfriend wanted to hang out with me. And I was like, I want to make a fucking YouTube video. So I'm going to have to go do this. And it took me like 2 hours. And I was like, damn, bro, like I don't have any time to do fucking anything.
Dude, making YouTube videos is very time consuming. Like even like quick ones take forever.
Oh, I know. Yeah, like once I actually started editing the videos instead of just doing the like push start and whatever happens for 6 minutes is what you're gonna get. Now I'm like actually editing them and I'm like, oh my God, it's so much more work.
Yeah, the editing is heavy. And also shorts. Like I spent 30 minutes yesterday trying to upload a video to TikTok, and I was like, why the fuck am I even doing this?
Dude, I know, right? Seriously.
I was about to lose my mind. But I'm trying to, because we have the TradeJournal shorts. So I was like, okay, because I have a social media manager that basically does all my social media for me. I don't look at my social accounts really, but no one's doing TradeJournal. So I was like, okay, let me try to do it on TikTok. And I just couldn't figure it out. I felt like, the grandpa who's like, I don't know how to use this app.
Yeah.
Dude, that was me. It was embarrassing, but it's kind of stressful. It was a good short though.
Did I watch that? I don't even remember.
Which one's the last one? I think it was we have Tom talking about trading. The other one was the trading girlfriend one. That was the one I uploaded on TikTok. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's funny. All right, let's do one more question here. This one's not as existential, but so let's start with Alex. What is your best practice for dealing with a trading drawdown?
I don't even know if I have a best practice, to be honest. What I do is I kind of have a general philosophy that, you guys know, it's, you want to limit your downside, but not your upside. So once you're trending down, even if it's for the day, for the week, for the month, I keep reducing size. So on the day, I'll reduce size a bit until I'm back in the green. Otherwise, I can't be sizing up, because if I take a big loser now, then I'm going to shoot past my max loss. Max loss is my most important thing, so I cannot break that at any means. And then there's like if I'm red on the month, for example, then every day I need to be taking smaller size until I'm green on the month. So it's always like, basically, the more I get into a hole, the more I reduce how deep I can actually get into a hole. So yeah, cut size. It's the easiest way to manage risk.
I want to ask what Toby does, but I don't think there's a better answer than that.
No, that's the perfect answer. I'm technically in a drawdown still, because from when I started, I still haven't totally broken even.
Yeah, same with me.
But that's kind of what Alex just said. When at one point, I like in June, July, I was thinking I was starting to get it a lot, and I was starting to have some good consistent months. And then I just started snowballing into negative months, and then I started reducing size again. And I'm just now starting to peak out of that reduced size and starting to size back into my trades again. But big key for me was just get green and finish. I've heard Ross say it a million times and didn't really believe it. And I'm like, man, if you just do like one trade, I can't just prepare for 1 2-second trade and then be done for the day. I got to do at least 10, and then you keep making up these new rules, and then it just becomes a problem again. But what I've been doing now is just, if it's green, I'm trying to just take the green, be happy with it right now, and keep trying to grow my trades or my size up, but really trying to focus on taking good quality setups and waiting for those to show up. But usually in the past, not that long ago in the past, I just tried to trade anything I could, but I really am trying to be patient and waiting for those setups. And they definitely come. You just have to sit around and be patient, wait for them to come around and then attack.
Yeah. You've had a really good month so far. But I just wanted to say, don't lie. When you're in a drawdown, all you do is trade more. 300 trades later, you're back to break even. Yeah. I'll never get over the most crazy running P&L I have ever seen in my life.
No, that is 100% some kind of record. And if it's not a fucking dollar amount record, I mean, obviously there's people that have definitely lost more and made back, but percentage wise of like average position, I guarantee you that's some kind of fucking crazy record.
300 trades in one day, and it's like, it's all there. Look at that. I can really feel the emotions on this chart, because all the chart is human emotions and like put up, on a chart. And I could really feel it in here. Here's like I'm doing okay. Here's the capitulation. Here's like, let me try to get it back. Frustration, total capitulation, kind of realization. And then you start building yourself up mentally. This is where the trader athlete comes out for sure. I don't know how I would have done here, but
looks like a mogul.
I think I would have threw my laptop out the window right around here.
Yeah, the month has been going really well for me this month. So fingers crossed and keep trying to make good trades.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow. You're full green. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good, man. Really good.
But and that was one more thing I was thinking about was, and I think I talked about it in the last podcast a little bit too, but really just my biggest focus now is just, like I said, have a green day if it's possible. But if there's no trades setting up, I need to be okay with not even making any money for that day. My biggest problem was, and I know for a fact that was, I want to make $500 a day, and then putting myself into terrible situations trying to make $500 a day when there wasn't an opportunity to make $500 on that day. And it's much better to take your wins when they're easy, and we'll, take your $600, $700, $800 and let it average out to be 500 in the long run, rather than trying to hit this arbitrary goal of $500 a day and then making really poor choices to reach that number. I'd rather just kind of, if it's going to be $100 day, just take it, be grateful. But on those days that you're trading well and every trade seems like it's going to work out or is working out for you, size up big and make it average out to be $500 a day for the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of
couldn't
those
agree anymore.
concepts.
Yeah.
That's one of those concepts about like Lance Brightstein will always bring up the whole, like if you're playing poker, and poker's a really awesome analogy for trading, because it's unlike trading in that there are set odds no matter what at all times. You know exactly what your chances are, because there's 52 cards. Trading has like 10 trillion cards and they change every day. So in poker, if you get pocket aces, you have to bet like a pretty decent amount before the flop comes out, because if you don't, over time, you are an unprofitable poker player. Now, obviously, you can take that so far where, like, if you're playing it against professionals, like sometimes you want to limp it and you don't want to 3-bet in the pre-flop with like a pocket pair, pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket jacks, whatever. And in trading, it's so hard for us to know when we have those pocket aces, because it just takes so many years for you to truly identify those like legit A+ setups. And we always are so confused. Like we'll watch Ross and it's like 4K, 2K, 1K, 5K, 20, 250K. And we're like, what the fuck? How he made 250K in today? Like just in one day? And same with like Madaz Money. He made $1 million in the GameStop trade because that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. There's also another guy I watched. He made $1 million in the GameStop trade called Mir Barak. He trades large caps mostly, but that is like one of those huge conundrums that I've been trying to focus on more recently. That's why I'm really bummed at myself today, because I think we had like Alex was saying before, there's usually only about 3 good trades every day, if you're especially in large caps. And today we had like 5 incredible opportunities that were just perfect A+. We made a lower high in the pre-market. We had a high to base off of yesterday. We're at the upper range of the options expected moves for this week. The MACD is bearish. Everything is lining up. Everything. We're below the 13 EMA, below the 50 EMA, below the 200 simple moving average, below VWAP. We have a gap though on the downside. I mean, there's just like, I could say 10 things that are happening and they all line up on the 1-day chart, 1 year, 1 day chart, the 30-minute chart, 30-day, 30-minute chart, and then on the 1 day, the 2-minute chart. So it's like when all those are lining up and you have that pocket pair, you have to size up. And that's something that Brightstein is so good at, that he'll be like, it's not just a sizing up to where it's like, oh, I'm going to take 2x my normal size. No, it's like 10x. Like when Ross is making those 250K days, he's not going in with 8,000 shares instead of 4,000. No, he's using 40,000 shares, So
yeah, the volume's there. Yeah.
And like as time goes on, we just have to constantly every day ask yourself, like, what was this quality of this setup I took? Was it good? Was it worth it to size? Like, was the size I used correct in terms of, the probability of this trade? So yeah. And the only thing I found recently that is the most obvious time to really have those A+ trades is whenever you have a perfect setup on the intraday, a perfect setup on the daily. If they are both perfect, that's whenever you have those really rare opportunities, because we get intraday setups that are pretty clean a lot of the time. But if they're still down 90% on the daily chart, okay, well, you're longing into some type of bag holder, huge resistance, no matter which way you put it. So obviously, whenever you're in all-time highs and you're breaking out and intraday is lining up, you're a 5-minute 90 EMA all day, and it's like that's whenever you have those exponential opportunities where you can make 2 to 5 months of profit in one single day.
Yeah. A big problem I was having was I kept on trying to size up slightly more and more on my green days and just keep increasing size. when, you kind of just need to have like a bit of a base size. But then when you see that, you have that pocket aces, like you mentioned, you need to really 10x it. And so when I'm trading, and I came out with a recap video yesterday, not a recap, but I just basically published my live trading yesterday, and you could see me walking through each trade. Toby was commenting on it, how I was commenting through each trade. And on some of them, I'm like, I didn't size enough here, or, okay, that was like a 3,000 shares. I should have done, at least twice that, or like, this was a really good setup. So I'm constantly reminding myself, what are the good, what are the bad setups? Because that's so fundamental if you want to have those huge green days at one point, which we all do, obviously.
Yeah, it goes back to that same thing of like, if you want to make more money trading, you don't need to trade more. You trade with bigger size. It's that same thing. I guess, but that's the thing that fucks me over too, because like I should trade more with trend continuation, but I just can't. I just don't know how to trade more with that strategy. But yeah, it's so tricky. There's so many. Trading is just hilarious because you do one thing one day, it teaches you something really important. The next day you implement that rule or implement that idea and it makes you lose. And then you do it again. And you kind of just like this smoothing out process over time of realizing whenever, like if you took a trade and you won, that doesn't mean it was a good trade, dude. That doesn't mean shit. Like I have this guy in my Discord that he literally drives an 18-wheeler truck all day. Okay. And he just pops in every like half hour because he can look at his phone, and he'll be like, oh, I'm in a call. Like he has no strategy, nothing. Like love the guy. His name's Gabriel, but he has no idea what he's doing at all. And the day that Jerome Powell was talking 2 days ago or 3 days ago, or whatever it was, the market was just flat all day. And he got into a call, right? So he's betting on the market going up. And he just was in a call, wasn't even looking at the market at all. He just checks his phone at like whatever, 2:30. And the market was at the very top of the day, very top of the day. He was up probably 300% on his call option. He sold it. And then he said, and then another guy in our Discord just said some arbitrary thing like, oh, this is like a tweezer top. Like it's like a pattern for price action. And then he was like, oh, sweet, I'm getting in puts. The guy just got into puts, goes in his truck, drives away, pops back in the Discord 30 minutes later. The market crashed. He was up 10 points. 10 points. 10 fucking points. It takes me a month to make like 4 points. Okay. This guy's up 10 points in one trade. And then guess what he does? He checks in. The market is at the very low of day, sells it, gets back into calls. I swear to God, I'm not lying about this. Gets back into calls, rides it back up, sells it at the end of the day. So this guy is not even watching the market, not doing anything. And he took 3 of the best day trades I've ever fucking seen in my life. Okay. And he has no idea what he's doing. And that's like, it's cool that that's a possibility in the market, but you got to realize that sometimes you got lucky and there's like, you can learn from everything, but I don't know. It's just,
that's where the beginner mistakes or the beginner's luck comes in, because you kind of look at something, you're like, that feels right. You kind of go into it with no, like, you don't overthink it. You just do it. But then you're like, oh, wow, I could really do this full time. That was so easy. And then you start overthinking it. Then you got to start paying the bills. Then all of a sudden you can't make a green trade anymore. So over the years, or however how long it takes you, you kind of boil it down to that very simple philosophy again, where you kind of started at, but now you obviously have more framework to base everything off of. And then you're like, oh, this is a pocket aces. Oh, okay, 10x size, boom, done.
Yep.
But it takes a while to get past that beginner's luck and that nasty area in the middle until you have that clarity again.
Yeah, it's such an interesting way of like learning something, because 99% of all education that exists pretty much in the world, it's pretty clear when you're wrong. And you know when you're wrong on anything, really, any denomination anywhere, like math, physics, engineering, doctors, like you're wrong immediately. But trading, you can be wrong and still make money. So that's why it's so tricky and it takes so long, because you have to weave out all of these profitable trades that were actually awful. And it's like, it tricks you so much into thinking that you're better than you actually are. So
I'm going to send over my 2 swings that I closed out. Remember, I was asking yesterday, and then I made a poll. Is it better to close your swings if the trade thesis is starting to fizzle out a little bit? I left both of them. One hit my max loss. The other one looked at my max loss. It didn't execute, thank God, and popped all the way up to my profit target today.
Wow.
And so, both of them I was about to close out. They're, smaller sizes. They're not so crazy right now in terms of P&L and like making a big difference or anything like that. But, yeah, you gotta let these trades ride a little bit. I'm excited to talk more about swinging, I think, in our future podcast. And I also want, or I'd be super curious to hear more from Toby about any sort of trading. Athlete mindset or things that you could bring over to trading and share with us.
Yeah, I'll think about it for sure.
That'd be super.
Yeah, we can make a whole episode about that for sure. Just with Toby.
Yeah, Toby's mindset and whatnot.
Got a top 0.0001% Olympic athlete in this motherfucker right now.
Yeah, we gotta milk it.
Dude, I was watching those videos, Toby. It's crazy, dude. Jumping, you fly up in the air and then you have to do moguls right after.
Yeah.
And you don't even hit, you're not even really bouncing in the moguls. You basically, once you hit the jump, you're straight down the hill after.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
is it
so
like
crazy.
Is it a score of time to get to the bottom and also like the trick? Is that how it works?
Time, trick, and then also the technique of the turns and the moguls.
Yep. Okay. It's wild.
Yeah, it looks wild. And like I keep thinking about my girlfriend's knee surgery while I'm watching it. I'm just like, how's he doing?
Yeah, Toby's knees go from his toes to his forehead, just like fucking just.
And I never had an ACL repairment or anything like that either. Just no real major injury from skiing.
That is so amazing, especially when you're doing that kind of stuff where I feel like any wipeout could be heavy.
Yeah, like how do you fall gracefully on moguls?
Oh, you don't. I mean, you can break ribs and all that stuff, and shoulders and clavicle, but I mean, those are kind of minor injuries.
Easy.
Yeah. Okay. Super minor.
I think I broke a couple of ribs like last Sunday, so I've been.
Oh, that's good.
Sleeping last couple of days.
Are you still actively skiing, or what's up? How are you doing there?
Oh, I don't ski anymore. When I was coaching with the Chinese, I would ski with them, and I would actually still jump and stuff. But I don't. I've been doing it for so long, and I don't have any passion for it anymore.
Yeah,
so I'm okay not. I say it right now, but it'll probably change later. But I'm okay not skiing for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like competitively, I know not competitively, but like on jumps, or more like even like a family vacation or something like that.
Family vacations,
Just no.
I loved competing. That was the biggest thing for me. That was the thrill. So the skiing part is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got what you meant. All right, that's crazy. Interesting. I
was out fishing. Tried to walk on like a moss covered rock, and feet slipped out from under me and then landed on my ribs right on the rock. And I've been in a sore place since then.
Damn. Did you get anything fishing? Were you spear fishing?
No, I was fishing for squid. I lost my lure and I bruised or broke a couple ribs.
Sounds like fishing.
Sounds like trading. At least there's other things where you can go try to have some fun and you get destroyed.
I'm trying to fish like in the mornings at least 2 or 3 times a week now, and maybe that's my meditation. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I go out like before the sun rises, so I'll be out there like 5 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the morning, and then come back, breakfast, gym, study trading, and then get ready for pre-market.
That's awesome. That's a great
when
schedule.
When do you sleep? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I try not to trade that late, so I've tried to be done by 10:30 every day.
Okay. That almost works then.
And I do take a siesta after lunch. The Chinese, working for the Chinese, every single athlete and staff after lunch, there was always at least a 1 to 2 hour break. You couldn't schedule anything. And no other,
Wow.
like when I worked for the Koreans or when I was on the US ski team, there was no such thing as taking a nap in the middle of the day. And so I got so used to it because there was nothing else to do, and they're, just follow their schedule. So after lunch now I take my nap. So I think I catch up on my extra hours there too. But I'll take sometimes if I know I'm tired, because the pre-market starts at 7 p.m. here. So I'll try to take like a 30-40 minute cat nap if I'm feeling pretty tired around 3 or 4 o'clock, just so I'm more prepared and ready for the market open.
Yeah, I find that to be very impressive and tough, because I also do like before the trading session, I'll go outside, do gym session outside, and then I come back, have lunch, and then I start trading for that 1 p.m. My local time, so 7 a.m. Eastern time, and that works. But man, decision fatigue kicks in probably around like 3, and I could only imagine how it is for you.
That's tough. That's probably why you guys are more of like, I want to trade for an hour and a half and that's it. Because it's so late in the day already. I mean,
Yeah, there's just life is starting to catch up with you. You got dinner, you have this, that, and it's tough. Like every time I'm back in America, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. It's like, 9 o'clock and I'm kind of done with work already. I got the whole day ahead of me. I'm fresh. And well, I guess maybe that's why it's easy to overtrade though as well. But
yep.
I don't know. You can make everything work for you. Just gotta have to figure it out for yourself.
But trading till market close here, that ruins my next day.
That's not gonna work. Yeah. No power hour trading.
Power hour has been pretty good, it seems like, the last month or so.
It has been really good, but I don't even touch it. I just see it the next day and I'm like, that must have been nice. Maybe I'll start trying to get some on the swing trading. But other than that, not for me.
Yeah, I don't even get FOMO from it. I was just like, I'd rather get a decent sleep and take the opportunities that I see. There's plenty of opportunities. There's always going to be an opportunity. Even I used to think, this was still like, everything is so new to me still, but even like middle of June and stuff, oh God, I can't skip a day of trading. Like, there's no problem. Skip a couple of days. It's not, the market's going nowhere.
Mm-hmm. That's just a I don't want to draw it out, but I totally agree with that. And that's a big reason I actually decided to stop doing the recap videos, because that always put a lot of pressure on me to do something every day, trade something every day, and try to hit some arbitrary goal every day. And I was like, it doesn't really make sense to do these recap videos, because I think it teaches the wrong lessons in a way.
Dude, for me, it's just a 24/7 FOMO all day, because the SPY just moves all day and I wait. Sometimes I got to wait 4 hours for my trade to even show itself. And then I miss it because I'm like, well, it's 1 o'clock. I'm like ready to work out and eat and I'm tired. So I just go work out and then I check my phone and then, oh, well, there's a SPY doing exactly what I thought it would do, but at 2 o'clock today. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Dude, it's so painful. That's why I stopped trading crypto, because I was like, yeah. You sit and watch the charts all day long. The second you take a shit.
No, seriously. Swear to God, I sprint to the bathroom every time I have to pee, and I pee all fucking day because I just drink so much water and caffeine. I'm just fucking sprint to the bathroom. So annoying.
Yeah. I don't know if I can handle that. I like my small caps that I pretty much know from 7 to 8, we almost get guaranteed action. 8 to 9, it's always a giant question mark. Usually I'll take a nap. And then obviously the open typically always does something. And then maybe 10 to 10:30, we'll get a reversal and boom, another big spike. But yeah, for me, I think, last 2 days I limited it till 8:30. I wrapped up both days. Last 2 days at 8:30, and it was nice. I'm not gonna lie, it was really, really nice. Both the green days too. So we'll see how we go forward. I'm excited to share a lot more of my research, guys. I've been studying like a freaking animal. So I think we're gonna dive a lot more into stats coming up. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we should just dedicate a whole episode to that. I would love to. Yeah, I would listen to that shit for a whole hour. I don't care.
Before we wrap up, can I share my screen recording?
Yeah.
This was right after the second halt up. After the first halt, I missed the trade. I watched it go up and up and up and couldn't pull the trigger, and then went into the second halt. And after the second halt, I I knew I had a feeling there was going to be a dip, so I wanted to catch the dip and then hopefully be on the rip afterwards. My first trade on it, I got in a little bit early. It dumped on me pretty quick, so I went from plus $10 to minus $257 in like 2 seconds, and then it started to soak back up, and it was taking out a lot of the ask. So I'll just start the screen here. Then I hopped into the trade because I saw it start to come back up, and then I held it, and waited till I got to about 250, and then
Nice.
my 1,000 shares.
Wow. That was a good one.
To
That's awesome.
300 almost for the day.
I like the title, Stonks to Hold.
I said that's awesome, and your account is alias is awesome as well. Perfect. Over the top, it said awesome.
That was my nickname when I was a year or two. So
That's that athlete psychology. You just got a positivity.
Yeah, I say I'm fucking awesome, and then I take a $300 loss in one day. My max is 100.
Colby, it's time to size.
Alex, bro. One of these days you're gonna wake up and I'm just gonna be standing over your bed like, fuck you up, dude.
Love it. So good. It's gonna make me keep saying it until I see that.
Seriously. I'm gonna size up one day and I'm sending you a fucking bill, dude. Really, you got an Venmo? Because you owe me $250 today. This is your fucking idea, okay?
I took your advice. It sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right, boys.
All right, guys. Yeah, that was a good chat. Nice job moderating. I think you killed it.
It's
Yeah.
tricky, man. You got to like think about where we're at in time, and I'm like all anxious. I'm like, shit, like, are we going too long? And I didn't have to think about that before, and I'm like, damn, I don't. I like it when I don't have to worry about the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably never going to be perfect, but
Nah.
we'll see. It was nice to learn a little bit more of everyone's background too. Something different. We usually don't cover that so much.
Sleep tight,
Man.
boys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, see you guys in the Discord. Good luck tomorrow.